C10 Talk, episode 193. Gabe Dago Franco. He's coming at you sideways. Literally. Here we go.
We went on like the first quarantine cruise with me and my buddies. And we went up into the mountains and we were like, dude, the roads are empty right now. If it stays like this, we might be able to do some stuff. And we actually just started taking action. And even though the videos aren't the best all the time, it just shows that it's that street driving. It's live.
Damn, son.
Let me tell you what Melbourne Post is packing right here. I've got 411 posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some fucking muscle.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind? That just happened.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 truck podcast.
And now I have a chance to be the best, maybe the best in the world.
My old man, he's a television repairman. Got this ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
I said I got 50 cents in that jukebox, and all I can hear is your mouth flapping. You hear that?
Here's your host, Ronnie Wedge.
What up, everybody? Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, coming at you with another episode of C10 Talk. I've had kind of a few crazy days. Monday was definitely a Monday. Tuesday has been a Tuesday. And we're getting this pod out to you with Gabe Franco. What a rad dude and a young man in the scene. And it's really cool to see these young guys kind of coming up. You guys need to check out his social media, because you'll see what he does with his truck and, a picture, a video. It's worth at least, in this case, at least 1,000 words. Good times, and pretty stoked about the youth. Episode 192, going back to Pro Touring Truck Shootout. That's kicking butt. You guys are digging that one. Things are really good. We've got a lot going on. We've got this whole thing called Truck Talk Media. So for your Ford guys, your Dodge guys, working on coming out with a Bronco one. And then honestly, we're looking at a Pro Touring Talk. So Arnie and a few other guys are going to be involved with that one. Truck Talk Media coming at you. And it's really just more pod for you, the enthusiast. So if you've got a friend who likes Fords, Dodges, Pro Touring, Broncos, I'm missing one, OBS, then we've got them covered. And that's what we're doing over here at TTM Truck Talk Media. Speaking of OBSs, we just dropped a really rad OBS shirt. It is probably one of the coolest shirts we've ever done. Check that out. We're doing pre-orders right now, and pre-orders will go till Friday. You get a few bucks off, and I'm going to throw in a free sticker, matching sticker with every pre-order. So check those out. It's a 93 Pace truck, and it's got rad retro styling, and then the heartbeat on there as well. So check that out, and I've posted it everywhere. You can pre-order at obstalk.com, obsnation.com, or c10nation.com. Either way, if you like OBS trucks, you like rad Chevy trucks, and you like rad shirts and rad stickers, check that one out. What am I doing? I've got a couple. The long bed shirt, my son came up with that long bed sticker. That long bed shirt will be out next. So that sticker did really well. And we heard a lot that you guys wanted the shirts. We did like a 12 shirt thing kind of as a joke. And not really as a joke, just kind of a test thing. We kind of made them for Kyle. We gave them to Kyle, Metalox, Big Ten Bowman had one. Like I said, a handful of guys. And everybody seemed to like it. So we will have that shirt out next as well. Another rad shirt going to be on the OBS side is the OBS radio. So I've done all the radios, the 60 to 66, 67 to 72, 73 on up. And now we're going to do a square dash radio coming out soon. On a way lighter note, last week we pretty much had kind of a crazy week with everything going on with Wyatt. So if you guys didn't hear, a young man in our scene, Arizona, Wyatt Jackson, at Wyatt C10 Jackson, at AZC10 Media, passed away. Very sad, very tragic, way too early, had a pre-existing heart condition. Thursday was the viewing, open casket, was a long line and a ton of support. Very sad, 18 years old, recently graduated, had some big plans. And then Saturday, man, oh man, we had a great tune-out. Yeah, a great turnout. with so many people, so many local, and it was really cool to see his friends and some kids there, some young kids out supporting Wyatt. And man, I tell you what just had to have just a big smile on his face, because we were out in force, and it was sad, but it was a lot of fun going on kind of a Wyatt cruise. They had the funeral procession people out. Dude, those guys are crazy. And we went on like at least a 7-mile little trip. And at one point, I'm pretty confident that we had about 2 miles of trucks in this procession. Now, Jason Bowman, Big Ten Garage, a friend of his, had a drone, and he's going to get me some footage, so I will share that. But what I wanted to share, and I didn't want to get, it's kind of a personal space thing, but I wanted to read this. I came across this, what they had in kind of the building where the viewing was. As you waited in line, you had all this just Wyatt stuff, from when he was a little kid, memorabilia, all the way through his truck stuff. And it was really cool to see all the stuff that he had and the support for the scene. Well, there was kind of a binder there, like a scrapbook binder. And I saw this, and I took a picture, and I asked his dad if I could read it. Well, maybe he thought I was going to post it, but I'm going to read it. So it's dated 8/10 of 2018. So he graduated in 20. So this would have been the beginning of his junior year, which is pretty crazy to think this was just over 2 years ago. So sad. The hobby that I am most into, so I'm going to read it. The hobby that I am most into is restoring Chevy trucks and being part of the C10 Club Arizona. The start of me liking to build and own trucks started when I was 14 and was looking for a first car to fix up. I knew it had to be something older, and my dad had suggested for him and I to fix up a truck for me to drive when I turned 16. After looking at about 12 trucks, we finally found the right one. It was a 1973 C10, and it was light blue. After picking that up and getting it closer to completion, I was able to pay for the rest of the parts. We then went out and bought 2 more, which then led into 2 more and brings the total to 5 trucks. So obviously he's still got his 73, and then 2 more. The C10 Club Arizona is a group of people that have 47 through 87 Chevy trucks. We have monthly meets in which everyone can come out and talk about their trucks. The club always welcomes new members as long as your truck meets the criteria. We have meets all around town and sometimes cruises to Superior and Casa Grande. I like the club because it gives me something to look forward to each month and a goal to reach if I need to fix something on the truck to make it there. It takes at least 3 nights a week to work on one of them just to gain progress. I am the C10 Club Photographer, and that takes up a night to get everything ready for the next meet. It definitely gets difficult at times with older vehicles. On occasions, you either need to have a certain part to proceed or put a halt on all progress when something doesn't go quite right. There will always be parts needed, like a rear end or a motor, which need time to be found and rebuilt, or just enough bolts to complete installation. Now it goes on, and I actually don't have that page. So I just took that one. His dad's going to send me the other page, but I don't want to bore you with that. I don't think it is, but I think the point is this is a young man, at this time I think his birthday was in November. So he's probably 16 when he wrote this, about ready to turn 17. I'd have to reverse my math here a little bit, but he was 18. So yeah, I think that's right. 16 at this time, and going to be 17, junior in high school. So I think the key is for me too, we all have these kids out there, and it doesn't have to be just a kid. You'll hear the interview today, and Gabe is 25, and somebody influenced him. And that's the key for all of us to remember. Somebody is looking, somebody is listening, and you out there are somebody's idol, role model, or, guiding light through this. And I just really think Wyatt was a special person. I'm glad that we got to spend the time that we did with Wyatt, and you just never know. 18 years old. Again, you've heard me say it. Wyatt Jackson, you're a great young man. Thank you for doing everything you did for the C10 Club, including the C10 Club Arizona, Dino's Get Down. If you ever had the chance to come to Dino's Get Down, especially the last 2 years, you probably saw Wyatt, and you probably saw him with the camera on. So, sad, but we sent him off in style. Okay, let's switch modes and let's kick it over to reviews. I finally figured out how the hell to read my new reviews with me updating my computer real quick, and then I'm just going to get you on over to the pod. So we've had to figure out kind of where I was. Great podcast, great info, great trucks, 5 stars. Love the format, stories, and info. Future C10 builder with 2 Silverados in the driveway. It's keeping things all truck. Keep up the great work and entertainment. Thank you. That's from Stargyle. Stargyle. Thank you for that review. 5 stars. Best podcast, 5 stars by Elizabeth 8510-8510. Man, I've been missing out on the podcast radio shows. I just got hooked up with it and started listening to C10 Talk, even though I follow them on social media forever. Ronnie and his show is rad. Keep it up, brother. That's Elizabeth 8510. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you for that review. One more, love the podcast, 5 stars by 65 Rojo. Building a 65 C10 and love listening to you. Even when you're shouting out your sponsors, I'm taking notes, love listening. And this is at Healing Tony, at healing.tony, 65 Rojo. Thanks for taking the time. Sponsors make it happen, you guys. I know sometimes you're like, oh, commercial, but Soapbox, I try to keep all sponsorship under 5 to 6 minutes, 1 hour long show minimum. You all know that I'm usually more than that. And you got to listen to 6 minutes of sponsors. And really, those people are here to help us, and we just got to push their stuff out there because, you need great parts too. So, Healing Tony, thanks for tuning in. All of you, please take the time. Please share the pod. You know the story. We need you to share it, like it, love it, give us a review. And we do appreciate it. A few shows. So you got Battle in Bama coming up 4th and 5th in Mobile, Alabama. September right around the corner. September 6th, C10 Intervention in Auburn, California. And I did just see Dino post something. The 10th annual Get Down is still going to happen right now, you guys. So make your plans. Make your plans. 10th annual Get Down, Westgate, Glendale, Arizona. I think it's going to happen, you guys. All right. Gabe Franco, Dago Franco on social media. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you guys dig it. Support those that support you, and let's support these young guys because they're kicking ass out there. Have a great week. Late. All right. Coming at you fast. Going to put your ass in the seat. I've got Gabe Franco, a.k.a. Diego Franco, San Diego Franco, and welcome, Gabe. Welcome to C10 Talk and what we do over here on the Crazy Pod.
What's up, bud? How you doing?
Good, really good. And I'm glad that you made it home safe from your event. I know you had a long weekend and were able to finally hook up and really stay shitty.
Yeah, man. It was a long weekend, but we made it back safely. Luckily, I had good friends with me.
Yeah, good friends always helps. Makes the weekend. We'll get a little bit into your event and how that went. I think that you even posted that was one of your first drifting style events. Tell us a little about who Gabe is.
Gabe, he's just a kid. He grew up in San Diego his whole life. He rode BMX, throughout his whole childhood. Grew up racing motorcycles and riding in the desert. And then when I was about 16, I was looking for my first car, and I saw a C10 outside, and I was like, dude, that thing's calling my attention, and I had to get it. And then ever since then, I had that in high school, kind of got in trouble with that, kind of wrecked that one, and started in a snowball effect. I ended up getting a second one from there, built that one up, C-notched it, did lowering arms and upper arms. And then in about November of 2017, I broke my back and my neck, and I was laying in bed for about 4 months, and I seen an ad on Craigslist for a new one, and I just had to jump on it and start working on it. Okay, well, you grew up BMX, motocross, being a wild man. So I think you probably had a cool family that kind of helped you with that. I assume, a dad probably got you into that. Yeah, as a young age, he was there for that. Okay. Now, we're not just going to skip over the accident. I mean, we're glad that you're back in the saddle. What happened there? So I was out in the mountains on my Harley. Me and my buddy were just kind of going on a night ride and just going through a corner too quick. Wasn't expecting it. Kind of locked up the rear brakes, and it just high-sided me. Ended up throwing myself into a dirt wall. So you are what we classify as a bona fide wild man. I mean, you grew up BMXing. You must have that thrill, that need for speed.
Do you feel
Yeah.
like that? Do you feel like you're just kind of always teetering on the edge, on the railing?
Yeah, I gotta always push myself, whether it's on like a bike or motorcycles, or even when I'm like fabricating or working or something. I always want to like do something different that's like a little bit outside the box. So I
Cool.
always gotta push that envelope.
How's the back, the neck, the body? How's that doing?
It's doing pretty good. I mean, I still have my normal pain, especially with work and whatnot, but I'm happy to be here. That's the
Good.
main thing. I'm just dealing with it and doing what I can.
Okay. What do you do for work?
I'm a mechanic day by day. So I go to work from about 7 to 5 every day, and I love what I do though. So it helps out a lot with that.
Dealership style mechanic? What kind of, like, heavy equipment, normal, just 9 to 5 style, automotive repair?
At our shop, we do everything from oil changes to heavy line, and they've got me doing heavy line as well. So if we're doing head jobs or if we need to do an engine rebuild, we'll do that. But on a typical basis, it's usually just like timing belts, brakes, suspension alignments.
Did you go to school or just kind of learn as you went?
So I learned during high school with my first C10. That's actually what landed me a job. I actually just learned doing stuff on that and rebuilt the engine. And then I was like, yo, I actually like this. I can make a living off this stuff. So then from there, I went and got a job as a shop boy, still at the same shop I'm at. And I kind of just grew, was cleaning up, doing oil changes. And I was like, I'm going to go to school for this now. So I went to a community college and got about like a year and a half of schooling on it. But other than that, it was mostly just getting thrown in at the shop I'm at and letting me do my thing.
Cool. You've obviously been kind of mechanical, wrenching on, from BMX to your motorcycles to your Harleys to all your trucks. You just, picked it up as you went.
Yeah, man, it honestly started with BMX as a kid, always just getting new parts from the bike store and going home and changing them out, getting all the bearings greased up. And then from there, it kind of escalated to the beach cruisers with motors on them, the little 50 cc's or the 80 cc's, and then ripping those things around. And then once you get your license, you want a faster car and whatnot.
I'm probably about 20 years your senior, young man, but isn't that a cool feeling when you can get a bike when you're like 11, you get a bike, you take the sprocket, you repair the bearings, new
Yeah.
pedals. And it's funny how that, for a lot of guys out there, young men out there, it all starts with that skateboard, changing out the bearings, the trucks, changing out the, different components on your bike, and really just not leaving things alone.
Yeah, definitely. You got to customize it your own way, give it your own little flair to it.
Yeah, I think it's funny how we all start that way. We all start somewhere, and a lot of C10 guys come from the mini truck world, the Volkswagen world. You kind of jumped in. So tell us a little bit about your truck now. You've got a square body, round headlight, square body. What year is that thing?
So the shell and the front clip are a 77. I guess you can consider the bed a 77 too.
Okay.
It's all been cut and chopped a little bit though.
Yeah. Now, how long have you had that truck?
So I got the truck back in, I want to say March of 2018. It was shortly after my accident.
And you knew from laying there and sitting there and chilling and just going crazy, you were like, I'm going to build this thing. I'm going to build a drift truck, or what did you think you were going to build?
Well, it was a funny story. I was laying there and my buddy sent me the link to a truck that kind of already had like the roll cage hoop in it and a few other little like mods and a bunch of extra parts sitting in the ad. And he was like, yo, you should hop on this. This is kind of everything you wanted to do. You can still daily your other C10 while you build this. He was just trying to motivate me to get out of bed as well. And I kind of just blew him off like, yo, nah, I don't need the truck. It's all right. There'll be another one. And then after about like the fifth time he sent it to me, I was like, all right, let's go look at it. Let's get out of the house. Let's go check it out. We went and looked at it. And at the time, I didn't know anything about fabricating. I didn't know how to weld. I didn't know what to look at, what was good or what not. So I kind of just hopped into it like, yeah, let's do it. I got it home, tore it down, or I should say my brother and my buddies tore it down for me. And then I was looking at some of the welds and I was like, these do not look good. And then a lot of the stuff I ended up just having to cut out. And then my buddies were actually all drifting and stuff at the time. So I was like, I wonder if I could drift my truck. And I started looking into drift cars and what kind of like requirements they need and whatnot. And I kind of just started going from there and throwing it at the truck and seeing what it would do.
Yeah, you threw it out and it stuck. Now, were they drifting cars, or were you kind of the only truck guy?
Yeah, I'm the only truck guy out here right now that I know of. They're all drifting like 350Zs and S14s and typical drift cars.
So what about Sideshow Tony? I think that guy kind of got you into it too.
Yeah, that guy. I remember I was just going through Instagram one day and I seen it was like a canyon run up, and I'm not even sure where, but he was just sliding through that shit, linking corners, and I was like, dude, that looks insane. And my buddy was just posting a clip like not too long ago of him in this S14 drifting, and I was like, yo, you think we could do some stuff like this? And he's like, yeah, man, that's goals. And we started just following Sideshow Tone, and we were like, dude, this is goals right here. So we kind of just set the show, or just started following him, and we're like, what could we do like him? Like, what is he doing that we could try and do? Just
So
kind of
walk us through
progress that way.
the build on your truck. So you get it, you're hurt, you I mean, motor, interior, the truck is obviously a lot different than from, when you initially got it.
Yeah, so actually, it had a bench seat in it when I first got it, like a typical one. And I knew from a fact from having a hurt back, I was like, I want a full roll cage, I want bucket seats, I want harnesses. So I tore it all down, got it down to the frame, boxed the frame in, channeled it. We did a C notch on it, 3 linked it, and then once the like main frame support and everything was done and main suspension, we threw the cab back on, and then I cut all the flooring out and started going at the roll cage, and just started like seeing a lot of, like, I grew up in the off-road industry, like watching races and stuff. So I like looked at a lot of trophy trucks, and I was like, how could I mimic their stuff as well and try and incorporate it into my truck? Just grabbed a lot of ideas from a lot of different places.
So you cut the floor out of the truck or the cab, you made your cage, you connected it to the chassis, I assume, and then you pieced it all back together, kind of put the floor all back in.
Yeah, so with the engine I went with, I still had a small block Chevy from the first truck I had, and that was a fully built small block with it's like a 355 now. That was a 327 originally. So I bored that, stroked it, threw a lot of money into it, and that went in, but I pushed it back about 6.5 inches. So with the floor being cut out, I cut out the firewall as well, and I kind of just got my transmission installed and started building the floor and the transmission tunnel and firewall all around it.
What tranny?
It's a Tremec T56 Magnum,
Yeah,
and I
that's got to
set.
be is that kind of a must?
Yeah, because I went through the T5s from the Camaros. I went through about 3 of those trying to just do donuts in my other trucks, and I grenaded like second gear and third gear. So they weren't too strong. And then everybody was like, get a T56, get a T56. And I was tired of getting burnt on used transmissions, so I pulled the trigger and went through them directly and got a new one.
I honestly don't know that much about transmissions. My son just bought a TR 6060, so a 60. Yeah. So I think it's out of a newer Camaro.
Okay.
It wasn't cheap, I'll tell you that. He spent a lot of pretty much all his graduation money, but I believe
Yeah.
it was comparable to the TR 56. So I wondered what you thought, if you had heard about that tranny at all.
I haven't heard too much about those, but if it's the newer ones from the Camaros, those are actually good. They can handle a good amount of power factory.
Yeah, that's what it was. So young man, you get into it. Your buddies. It sounds like it's somewhat of a family affair. Your brother. You guys are following Sideshow Tone, and you build your truck. I mean, dude, you're killing it out there. So
Yeah.
let's go back. When you put your motor 6 inches back, was that, we just got back from the pro touring truck shootout, and some of those guys really push their motors back. Obviously, they're looking for, big time balance. Was that what you were looking for? Just is that a drifting focus as well as, hey, I just got to keep a lot of balance, so I don't want to be swinging all around. I do want to be
Well,
swinging, but controlled.
yeah, no doubt. I thought of like drifting is new to me. So like as I was building the truck, I was getting into drifting. And for my preference of it, I knew that these trucks are heavy. So I was trying to think how could the most weight, like where could it be displaced the best? And from autocross and pro touring, like you're saying, like trophy trucks as well, they put the engine in the middle. It's a mid-car engine or mid-engine car, and weight just transfers better, I think, in that way. So pushing it back, it kind of just gives it a better weight distribution. definitely.
Do you think you'll stay with that 355?
I'm going to keep it as long as I can because LS is the way I want to go about it. It won't be cheap. I definitely don't just want to go to the junkyard and get a 6.0 and swap it in.
What about a 6.2?
Yeah, I'd like a 6.2 with the cam and a nice intake and a nice fuel system management.
Going right back to that BMX days, man. Got to have that cool seat, those mushroom grips.
Yeah, the good old S&M grips.
It doesn't change. It doesn't change much. So the one thing too is you definitely are able to kind of, in my mind, what you have is you put it together over time. You've pieced it together and you're having a shit ton of fun with it. What do you think you tell the younger crew out there, just like you guys looked at, different off-road guys, you looked at Sideshow Tone, and now I feel like, there could be people that are definitely looking to you guys, the following that you have and what you've been doing. Even the C10 world is just, we love watching what you do, man.
Yeah, I want to say to everybody, don't lose. If you have a dream for something, don't lose out on it. Go for it, even if it's different. Because I knew that building a drift truck, especially a C10, was way out there. But I knew that if I was able to bring it into grasp and actually drive it good, it would actually work out good and grab the attention of everybody like it's doing. And I'm happy that everybody's liking it.
So about how long have you been, has your truck been to the point where you have been really able to just let it rip? Hey guys, I have Jim Flanders, Brothers Trucks on. Jim, what's the latest?
Grinding away, selling truck parts, and really focusing on our YouTube channel.
The cool thing is, myself included, I'll check that channel out. It's a great customer service, a benefit to us. When we buy something, we can get in depth and know a little bit more and know the ins and outs, especially to watch it even before you go to install the product.
Yeah, absolutely. And we built a tech center in the back of the warehouse. So we literally bring in new products, we'll build them onto a truck or put them onto a truck, and we can see instantly how much work it's going to be, how easy it is. And we put that out to our YouTube channel so people, like you said, they'll be able to look at it and go, you know what, I can do that job in a day, or I can do that job in an hour. And it basically just completes a whole package of not just selling the product to a customer, but really backing them up when it comes to showing them how to do it and just making sure that they've got everything they need to get the truck back on the road or keep it on the road.
Like I said, I've watched it myself. I love it. Now, I heard you're rearranging some stuff over there. What's going on in the warehouse?
Yeah, we actually, this last year, we've been building a ton of inventory. And for a long time, we've always said, if you don't have it on the shelf, it's hard to sell it. People want to have it on the shelf. They want to know they can call and get it out the door that day. So, we're just trying to be more efficient. We're trying to have more inventory on hand. And, we've done a really good job at building inventory over the last 25 years. So I think that's what's putting us in the lead in this truck market for sure.
I totally agree. Brothers Trucks, you guys, for all your Chevy and GMC truck parts. And don't forget, they're putting new stuff on their YouTube channel all the time, so check it out. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, I've got Bobby from PSI Conversion on the phone looking at LS LT-based motor swaps. Bobby, why should we choose PSI Conversion?
Ronnie, our harnesses are made right here at home in the U.S. Our product lineup includes the early 90s Gen 2 LT motors, Gen 3, Gen 4 LS VotorTech motors, and Gen 5 LT and LT4 packages. We have transmissions ranging from automatic 4, 6, 8 speeds, and soon to be released our new 10-speed, in addition to all the manual options out there.
Wow, you guys cover everything. How do you deal with intimidation factor when a customer is doing their first LS or LT swap?
Great question, Ronnie. But the thing is, there's nothing that we haven't seen here in the LS and LT world. If you grab almost any motor out of a junkyard, you want to Frankenstein to build together or even supercharge it. Leave it to our sales team to help guide you along the way to the products that you need for your restoration. We have over 10 years of experience in the market, a tech department that is available to help troubleshoot and diagnose any issues or questions that you have along the way while installing your PSI products. Couple that with a staff that is going to be standing by our product with pride, made right here in the U.S. to a GM quality standard. Our team is happy to get you wired up and fired up.
And don't forget, guys, use code C10TALK and you'll save 5% off your order. PSIconversion.com. PSIconversion.com. You want to save 5%? Use code C10TALK at checkout. Thanks, Bobby. So about how long have you been, has your truck been to the point where you have been really able to just let it rip?
So February I actually remember February 2nd was the first day I took it out and did donuts of it, and that was this year.
So it's like the COVID truck, dude. It's like you brought the COVID with you, man.
Yeah, it's honestly
It's the
it's been
COVID 10.
yeah, no doubt.
Oh, that's crazy. That's about right when we were just about ready to head to LST at the kind of third week in February, and we got back, and then the world like shut down. So that might be a good thing for you, especially in Cali with some of those streets. And you open that truck up, and next thing you know, you've got a lot of real estate to cover.
Yeah, that's funny, dude, because actually that's kind of what it was. We went on like the first quarantine cruise with me and my buddies, and we went up into the mountains, and we were like, dude, the roads are empty right now. If it stays like this, we might be able to do some stuff. And then me and my other buddy, my best friend, were like, let's start filming some shit. Let's get out there. Let's do it. And we actually just started taking action. And even though the videos aren't the best all the time, it just shows like it's that street driving. It's live.
Oh, I was just one of my questions is, who's doing that for you? And obviously you've got a good group of guys with you. Sometimes they're hanging out the sunroof. Sometimes it looks pretty stiff. One, I swear to God, you almost killed the guy. Like the ass end of your truck just like practically tapped the camera. And the best part is you clear it for the audience. He clears his buddy, or let's assume the selfie stick that's sticking out like 6 feet. And his buddy's just like, woo, yeah, and he's screaming like, and I'm like, dude, you were like 6 inches from death, bro.
Yeah, man. The funny thing is none of that's with the selfie stick. That's all with just holding the camera with your hand. My buddy hanging out a sunroof or the back of a Miata, like you're saying. And he told me, he was like, get close. And I was like, all right, if I get close, I might want to give you a little love tap if I get too close, but I won't. And we just kind of went with it, and it worked out good.
Cool. So any other mods you want to make to the truck? Or are you pretty happy with it right now?
No, I definitely want to do a true coilover setup in the front. And as a lot of you guys could tell, I got a lot of body roll going on with the truck. So I should probably get some sway bars on it, especially in the rear.
Yeah, you definitely pitch that thing one way or the other. So right now, are you just stock with some different spindles and bigger brakes, or what are you running up front?
Up front, it's got CPP spindles, 2-inch drop that I cut and modified like typical drift knuckles. You move that tie rod pickup point in.
Okay, and no sway bar at all? Nothing?
No sway bar up front, nothing in the rear either. The front is still it's still on a stock coil spring from a 20-ton van, or not 20-ton van.
Yeah, C30.
Yeah, the C30 vans. They got the 20-ton suspension.
Or G2, I guess, or a G. We're going to get in trouble. G20 or G30, we'll get in trouble. People will be like, a van is a G.
Yeah, one of those things. I found it at a junkyard.
Yeah.
But I modified the frame to where the actual drop-down member, it's actually tucked up into the frame. So that lowers the truck a bit. So that way I didn't have to cut my springs or have to get lowering springs that weren't going to be as stout as the big factory ones.
Cool. Yeah, so that would be, I mean, really that's just pancaking it, right? So you're lowering it, bring it up. So you did that yourself. You've got some different mods that you want to put to it. Did you tell us about kind of learning how to do it? So you watch guys. How did you learn? Because sometimes it's just that trial and error, and then you're pounding on your truck.
Yeah, no doubt. Swinging a hammer at nothing, if off the ground. So what happened was I was watching a lot of YouTube laying in bed, and from the previous truck I had, my buddy welded the C-notch for me, and I didn't weld, so I kind of just watched him, got him the grinder, prepped the metal and stuff like that. But I'm the type of guy that if I can't do something, I hate relying on somebody to come over and help me out because I'm just wasting my time, just waiting on somebody if that's the way it is. So I kind of just was like watching YouTube videos on how to weld and what the best way to do it is and how to learn. And I kind of just went after it.
Cool. And now are you kind of bona fide fabricator? Do you do some welding at the shop too?
Yeah, at shop now, if we need stuff welded, I'll get after it. I'm not scared to hop into it anymore. I'm pretty confident in what I could do.
Cool. Now, what about the driving? That's kind of where I was going, was just driving. Did you just learn little by little?
Yeah, so driving, like drifting is really new to me. I've never really done too much like burnouts or donuts other than this year. But I always watched trophy truck drivers, and I grew up riding motorcycles and picking lines and stuff. So once I started like figuring out how to link stuff, it kind of just grew, going faster and faster.
Yeah, you definitely, I like your analogy of kind of going back to your previous, whether it's motocross or just, the dirt sports, but you seem to pick it up fast, especially if you just started driving this truck in February and learning kind of as you go. How about tires? We need to get you like a tire sponsor, bro.
Dude, that's like the main thing right now. Is I'm going through tires like 2 weeks now.
You're getting all these
And
huge hits on YouTube and social media, Instagram, and you're like, send money. I need more tires.
yeah, it's like I want to reach out to people, but I don't want to be too needy or whatnot,
Yeah, you need to get some good scrappers that come from the shop. Somebody gets rid of some of them. Maybe get a job at discount, moonlighting at discount or something like that. And some of these takeoffs you could throw on the COVID 10, the
Yeah,
monster.
yeah, that's a good name for the truck, COVID-10.
It is black.
I like that.
It is a big old black beast that comes at you hard. For my audience, it is just fun to watch what you do. You obviously have a smile on your face every time I see it. The videos. What do you think about how popular your videos get? I mean, the amount of hits that you get and the views. That's got to be kind of like crazy to think that not that long ago, you didn't even have the truck, and now you're tearing it up and you're getting a lot of love. And for the audience, again, I had one of a guy who's been on the show. He literally last week is like, you got to get this guy on. And I'm like, dude, he's scheduled next week. So it just worked out. But you're causing a little bit of you're causing some commotion out there, which is obviously what you were looking to do.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I mean, it's really new to me. All this stuff happens so quick. It's crazy. It's pushing me, honestly, to do more. Every day I wake up and I'm like, all right, what freeway entrance can I swing today? Or what street can I link today or something, So, and all the feedback I'm getting from everybody and support, repost, it's really helps me out a lot. It's motivating.
Do you clear your routes at all? Do you and your buddies kind of clear anything before you go out?
Yeah, we do. We'll check it out. We'll go there before, and then if it's like a bigger, like a bigger kind of clip that we're trying to get on a smaller road, we'll have walkie-talkies and spotters up and down the street. But for some of these videos, it's kind of just going out and getting it.
Yeah, the one that I first shared, I think I primarily shared it just because I loved your caption so much, but it was when I forget my mask and I have to head back home or something, and you
Yeah,
come
yeah.
out of the corner like a bat out of hell. It might be the bat out of hell C10 because it is black and it just flies like a bat out of hell. So he comes out of nowhere. He pitches it left. He pitches it right. He freaking swings it all the way back around. He turns all the way back, and then I think you like almost turn it back around again and then head back on the freeway or something. But you obviously have a lot of fun. And I will tell you, one of the cool things I really like about your videos that I've watched is there's no previous attempted and or trial skid marks. A lot of times when you see some of these videos, they're like, oh, that's his third take at it. But with you, it's not, because I look, man, I'm zooming in on that shit. I'm like, dude, there's no skid marks there. This is what he's doing. Now, you might have done it around the corner at grandma's house, but where you're shooting now, it's pretty clear.
Yeah, dude, that's cool that you noticed that, because that's one thing that me and my buddies that film with me, we like to do. It's like if we're going to do this, we kind of want to just get it on that first try so that the people that notice that will see that, like, hey, look that's first try right there.
Yeah, I saw a first try too where you almost freaking clipped the side of a mountain the other day, where your right side like tapped the hill and the dust like goes up, and I'm like, oh shit, he killed that lizard, But have you
Yeah, I
had
thought
some?
I saw my ex walking down the street or something.
You wanted to tap? Yeah, we won't say that. Yeah. So you have you ever had besides that one that you recently posted? Have you had anything some close calls, like really close calls?
Knock on wood, I haven't had too many close calls, but there's been a few times with my girlfriend fucking around on some freeway entrances at night that, we get a little sketchy where it's like, all right, we're going to cut it off right here. But I've been playing it pretty smart. Luckily with the brakes and everything I have on the truck, it helps out when I want to cut out. I could stop up and cut out and get away from it.
What brakes do you have?
So on the front, what are they off of? Like a 2007 Silverado 1500. So they got the big front brakes and calipers, and they actually are about 12.88 inches. So they're close to 13 inches. And then on the rear, I have a full Willwood setup, calipers and rotors.
Yeah, like 12 in the back, or what do you got?
I think it's like 12 and a half, I want to say. It's a little
12.
less than 13.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. You've got an '07 Silverado. I've got a '07 Classic, and I've got 107. Now I got a 3/4 ton, but I got 175,000 miles, and it's a 3/4 ton diesel, and I still have the original brakes.
Dude, for
So,
some
dude,
reason,
they're badass, dude.
yes, dude. That my coworker, my
Yeah,
service writer, he has a '07 Avalanche, and that thing has, I want to say, close to 200K with the still original front brake pads.
dude. Every time I do like a rotation or anything, I'm like, all right, gotta, get ready for some brakes. And I look at the pads, I look at everything, and I'm like, dude, everything looks good to go. I'm like, I'm not gonna mess with it because I have heard that the stuff since is just not going to be as good. Obviously, I doubt I'm going to get another 200,000 miles out of my next brakes.
Oh,
That's
definitely
pretty
not.
crazy. So ride those '07s out, bro.
Yeah, exactly. If they did something that year where they just lasted so long, and then they had to realize it and stop it. They're like, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah, they sold the technology to Dodge because I've had a Dodge before I had this, and I tell you what, man, that thing went through brakes like crazy. So you just had your first event this last weekend where you were drifting. How'd that go?
That was super fun, dude. It was a little bit of a long drive out there too, since I drove the truck there. Had some problems getting out there, but overall it was a fun time. It was a little hot. It was about 99 degrees in the desert.
Do you deal with heat problems with the truck at all?
I did up until I got some new Mishimoto fans. They didn't hook me up or nothing, but those things rip. Those things really keep my truck cool.
So you're running a dual fan setup with like an aluminum style radiator?
Yeah, just a normal Summit Racing, like a 3-row radiator,
Mm-hmm.
fairly cheap on their site, and two fucking Mishimoto fans, and that thing keeps it pretty cool.
Cool. And so you drive it to and fro. It's kind of your run what you brung type deal.
Yeah, so for my first event, I thought it would be cool to, drive your car out there, get shitty all day, and then drive it back. But on the way out there, we got like an hour out, and we pulled over for gas one last time to kind of just top everything off. And when we were leaving the gas station, I noticed my alternator wasn't charging. So I was like, fuck, all right, like maybe the alternator took a shit. So we went to a store, got an alternator, found a random O'Reilly's right before they closed, swapped it out, had to go rent a pulley puller, swap that, and then went to the event, and the alternator still wasn't charging. So I drove all day yesterday, kind of just draining my battery, charging it here and there. And on the way home, we tried charging it, and it didn't charge very much, and then it started draining like instantly.
What are you running? Like a 120 or 140? What are you running?
It's the 140, and then but it just something with the wiring wasn't working very well. I was kept frying the main fuse for it.
Yeah. The
That's like
problem
a
is those
50
freaking
fuse.
fans, dude. I'm telling you, man. I had that problem on my '73 Yellowstone. The fans just suck the freaking power, dude. And once they start up, you definitely need a big amperage alternator, because it's tough. So obviously, if it's not working, it's not working. But
Yeah, I think that's honestly what it was, because the fans got thrown on probably about 3 weeks ago now, and that was the longest drive that they've been on. And I think just having it constantly running, it just fried them.
do you have any amperage or any fuses, like a relay inline for your fans too, so that it can kick one of the fans off, or are they both on, both off, one on, one off? Sometimes
So the
it'll read.
fans with the Holly fuel injection kit, they have a wire input on it,
Hmm.
and it's wired into that, and that has a built-in relay or a built-in fuse to it itself.
So you're running
But
a
I checked
sniper?
that. Yeah, the Holly sniper kit.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That's the thing. And then what are you programmed? 180, 190? When are you programmed to kick them on?
I kick them on I set them a little bit early at the event. I kicked them on at 180, but normal
Hmm.
driving, I kick them on about 185, 190.
So you go to the event. You're probably, I don't know how many trucks are there.
There was actually only one other truck. There
That's,
actually was a truck there, surprisingly.
well, that's cool though. There was another truck there. Was it a C10?
No, it was an old Tacoma.
Okay.
Like a typical grandpa's truck.
How'd it go? C10 Nation. Let me tell you about my buddies Travis, his dad Jack, aka Dad. They run Pro Performance, AZ Pro Performance. They're active in our community. They're C10 guys. They're always working on new stuff, like their new suspension line, React Suspension. They're master dealers for Dakota Digital, Bear, Boyd Welding, Vintage Air, and many more. They're C10 specialists and stock many fast-moving products backed by their stellar customer service. Not only do they sell C10 parts, but they live and breathe C10s and are very active in our community. Like I said, look for them at your next truck show. And they want to talk to you and help you out with your C10 project. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and you can also check out their Facebook group called C10 Addiction. So check them out and let them know that I sent you. Hey guys, I have Greg Carpet from Dakota Digital on. Greg, why should we choose Dakota Digital?
Ronnie, I think we're the best. If you want something that looks cool and fits in the dash, we've got that. If you want something that's going to work with either a 327 or an LS3 or anything in between, we can do that. We've got a ton of direct fit instrument systems for all these pickups, and then we've got some modules that'll plug into the computer for your LS, your LT, pull all the info straight out of the computer, put it in the cluster. So it's really the easiest, most functional, most user-friendly package on the market.
I agree. And the cool thing is, from the modern perspective of technology, you can even use your phone if you need to.
Yeah, our HDX and RTX lines of instrumentation, so our newest platforms we've released, do have a mobile app, and you can put that on your phone or your tablet. So not only speed calibration and color selections and all of the setup parameters can be done on your phone or tablet, you can also run the real-time gauges. So if you're, say, under the hood working on something, you can have the oil pressure and the coolant temp pulled up so you don't have to run back and forth. So app is really a nice upgrade on these.
You want the look, you want the performance, and you want to be able to see your gauges. Dakota Digital. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Ronnie.
How'd it go?
It was fun, dude. It was super rad. We started about 9:30 in the morning, and it was kind of just like a free-for-all. Everybody just going at it, and it was fun, dude. Super fun. I've never been on a track. The first track I ever went to actually was Adams, and I don't know if you're familiar with Adams, but that's a go-kart track. So if you can imagine a big old C10 on a go-kart track, it was pretty hard to keep that thing on the track.
So when you do a drifting event, is it actually like, a lot of times when we see like the Mustang drifting and they're just kind of going back and forth and they're dueling, kind of like I've seen at Barrett, I've seen at LS Fest West. They're kind of dueling with one another. Are you guys dueling? Or are you guys on a track and you're going for time? Or how does that? I really don't know that much about drifting.
No, so for a drift event, it's more so just like a big party. You go out there, you camp overnight, you get drunk with your buddies, and then the next day you go out and drive all day and have fun. And if you want to do tandems, like with your buddy, like side by side, you could do that, or you could go out and do solo runs, or it's all about just mostly having fun with your buds.
Now, when you get more into that, are you going to have, just a backup set of tires? I mean, if you're going to drive, or do you just plan on trailer and so you don't have to? Because I can imagine you just blow through some tires and then you're like, I got to drive home now.
Yeah, so for this one, I brought out 6 tires with me, 6 new tires. But I actually only went through a set, surprisingly.
Now, have you crossed paths with Sideshow Tone? Is that something where, does he know about you yet, to think that you were influenced by him?
Yeah, it's funny. He actually just started following me, I want to say, last week.
Did you giggle and tell all your friends, like, Sideshow Tone is following us? We made
I told
it!
my girlfriend. I was like, dude, this dude's following me now.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, you were laying there in bed, and this guy motivated you. You were busted up, and now, dude, dreams do come true. That's a big thing to people. People need to realize that out there. That people,
you cut out a little bit, bud.
Well, I just think that's a big thing. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, it's saying the internet is unstable. I don't know why it would say that, because we're on the good old fashioned Bluetooth or the hotspot. Just saying that's a big deal. We all have, as young guys, we all looked up to somebody, and now you looked up to somebody, and to have that guy follow you, it's a big deal. And there are going to be people that follow you. There's some 18-year-old out there, maybe 16, maybe 20. There could be somebody who's 40 that's following you now. That's like, dude, I want to freaking drift like that. I want to get shitty like that guy does.
Yeah, no doubt. It's crazy. It's like, I try and respond to everybody. I'm not trying to be a dick if I'm late or anything, but it's good to reach out to people and be supportive, Like Sideshow Tone, he reached out to me. recently, and he was like, "Keep doing your shit, man," and that meant a lot to me.
Yeah, I could see that. That'd be cool when you get to actually meet him, shake his hand, and maybe send him this. We'll send him this pod and tell him, hey, listen up, dude. You're influencing people, and he probably knows that. He's got a big ass following.
Yeah, he does, and he's killing it, man.
So what's next, bro? Next for you, for the truck? What's the next video? What's the play?
Shit, every day it's unknown. Sometimes I just wake up and I'm like, dude, let's go film this line I thought of last night in my sleep, or dreamt about, and that's usually how it works. And then most of the times, those are the best banger clips.
Yeah. Do you do your buddies? Do you just kind of have a handful of buddies that are always ready and willing?
Yeah, I've got like a 5, 6 buddies that I can count on to call, depending on the day. I know their kind of schedules, and I get off around the same time, so we try and work it out.
What about getting busted? You're out there. We've seen you kind of do what you do. You ever get a little 5-0 fancy?
Yeah, there's been some few run-ins, but luckily they got to catch you in the act, it seems like. But I don't want to knock or jinx myself anyway, but it's definitely a risky situation to be doing this all on the streets and posting it and whatnot.
What do they do if something like that is? Do they just get you on reckless?
Yeah, they can get you on reckless driving, impound your car, give you the chance of not giving it back. And Blake Wilkie. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he had to do a little bit of jail time for that video he did.
Yeah. He's he's definitely a wild man.
Yeah.
Fun to watch for sure. The one thing though I will say, and now I'm not a cop, but I'm a firefighter. So 23-year public safety. I hang out with cops. I know cops. Dude, most of the time they're pretty cool. It's just when if you're gonna hurt either yourself or somebody else, then it really becomes. And I can imagine, believe it or not, I bet there with your following, so you have like 25K, you have at least 100 to 200. I'm gonna say 100 minimum. You have maybe 50 to 100 cops that follow you. Now they may be in Ohio and freaking Baltimore. They ain't hanging out in Diego, but you do have some cops that are following you. And you might have a cop right in your own backyard, and he's not following you because he wants to bust you. He's following you because they like to see what you do. You do look like you have pretty good control for the most part, and I don't see a lot of civilians and or bystanders or vehicles around, but maybe you just don't post those.
Yeah, no, I try and keep everything out of residential areas. I do have respect for people and their families and businesses and whatnot. And like you were saying, there are definitely cops out there that are following me. I've got one guy that I've noticed is a San Diego police officer, but he seems to be pretty psyched on all the videos so far.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. So explain to us a little bit about, the hashtag, that you have. You have Slippery C10s, you have Stay Shitty. I think Stay Shitty comes from Sideshow Tone though, right?
Yep, that's him. That's all his brand right there.
Okay. So walk us through some of those different hashtags that you have and kind of the meaning behind them.
So Slippery C10s, I get asked that one a lot. That one's kind of just, a lot of people will tag their drift name or like AE slides, or they'll put their username as a drift thing. So I was just like, nobody really slides C10s, so Slippery C10s kind of fits. And I kind of just liked how it sounded.
Cool. Yeah, it does sound pretty cool. You got your own little posse, dude. You just need some more C10s to mount up with.
Yeah, and they're out there, dude. I've had a lot of people send me pictures of their builds and whatnot.
Cool. So any other hashtags that you use a lot?
Let's see. Keep it street. I like that one.
Just I think keeping it on the street. What are you thinking?
Yeah. Well, drifting in my eyes, like from what I took at it, was like a Japan thing, and they just took over the mountains over there, and that was always just street driving before competitions and events.
Do you have any events that you've been involved with? I know on the Ford podcast, we interviewed a guy by the name of Chop Moto, and he goes under Moto Life and then Chop Moto. He's wild. He's crazy. He's got this like jacked up 4x4 Ford, and he's just freaking doing donuts. There's people all around. Have you been a part of or involved with any events like that where you guys just kind of shut things down?
No, I haven't yet. I've been invited to a few like big burnout contests and stuff, but they're all far away, and it's hard to get away from work,
Yeah. That's cool. I think they're probably going to be more and more. It does seem like some of these back street race events are getting really, really popular. Obviously not a side drift or slippery C10 event, but it does seem like these kind of late night out in the middle of nowhere meetups are getting popular. I know we were back in Bowling Green for the pro touring stuff. There was some going on that we were going to try to sneak out and get to. But the funny thing is the guy that we were with, another C10 guy, he was our lead on it, and they all thought he was a cop. So they wouldn't tell him. So they're like, no way, dude, you're a cop. We're not telling you shit.
Oh, that's funny as hell.
Yeah. So what about pro touring? Have you ever thought about, because I don't know much, the difference of obviously what you're doing from a drift perspective. Why couldn't you take that truck and do some pro touring with it?
I definitely could. That's one thing that's been tossed up in my head. It's like, hey, why don't I take this out on like an autocross track and see what it does? But I was actually thinking about trying it at Good Guys. I was going to go to the Good Guys show this last April, but with the coronavirus, it got postponed.
Yeah. There will be one here in Phoenix. They think they're keeping that last Good Guys going. And I probably could let the cat out of the bag a little bit, but there's going to be I know we're the guy that puts on the pro touring truck shootout out in Bowling Green. He's looking, and I'm trying to help him get something set out here in the West. Now, I know there's some LA guys or Cali guys, I'm not sure exactly where they're at, but they do a lot of stuff out there too from the pro touring. So there's always something you could probably get into. I think it'd be fun that you'd probably just, dig, just whipping your truck around a little bit and seeing how it does. And then you kind of get a little bit of both. The problem therein lies is more money, more problems. You got, am I drifting this week? Am I pro touring this week? What am I doing this week? So it'd be, fun, but only so much time and money, I guess.
Yeah, I'd love to get out there. I just want to drive, honestly. I don't even care if it's a C10. If it's another car, I'm just trying to drive.
Cool.
As much as possible.
You've been bit hard. You found it. You found another outlet, probably a little safer outlet than, your BMX and your motocross. We're glad that you survived your Harley, crash. And we look forward to stuff that's going to come out from you. For my audience, you can follow them. It's DAGO, so kind of like Dago and then Franco. And he was saying that kind of comes from San Diego. Anything else? Anything else to add? Any goals? Anything? Where are we going to see you in a couple of years, bro? What's the plan?
In a couple of years? I don't know. Me and my buddy were tossing up this idea of maybe start doing drift competition, kind of like what you were talking about with the Mustangs, going side by side. Maybe start looking into some more competitions locally and working up to like Formula 2 and then eventually maybe Formula Drift one day.
I think if you do that, the more you can get involved, the more you can get some people behind you, some money behind you, and some sponsorships, which makes things fun and easy, and not easy, but it makes it a little less burden, when you're having to bring 6 tires and going through brakes and things like that. You're chasing that. Now, so you have like a brake, and then how does that work? So how explain how you drive and how you drift it so well.
All right, so the Hoon stick you're talking about, the e-brake, that's a hydro that has its own separate calipers on the rear, and then it's got its own master and its own reservoir, so it's not even tied into my brakes. But the funny thing about that is all those videos are mostly used without it. Even this weekend, I didn't even have it working.
So you're doing it all natural?
Yeah, I think there's one video I posted where I used the handbrake, but other than that, it's all just gas and brake.
So when you use if you were to use the Hoon stick, and I guess I've heard of that, you push forward and it's going to lock up one brake, and you push back and it's going to lock up the other, or it's going to not really lock it up, but it's going to push on the master cylinder, your rear master cylinder.
Yeah, so what it does, it's not like a cutting brake. It won't lock up either or wheel. It locks them both up at the same time. So if you want to initiate, you could go into a corner a little bit faster than you're actually like trying to do. That way you have that speed. You can go in there, holding the clutch, pull that handbrake, and kind of get your angle that you want. And then you could dump the clutch from there and kind of just keep it going.
So you're really not coming out of your RPM as much. You're able to use the back brake, stay throttled up, hit the brake. It's going to swing you around and then let off the brake and hopefully have a little traction and shoot your ass out of there.
Yeah, well, it's more so kind of like if you want to slow down or if you need more angle, you can kind of pull that handbrake to kind of slow you down, grab a little bit more angle, kind of move your position of the vehicle.
Cool. Yeah. That's so yours is just, you're not, it's not all hooked up. It's not working. You can get it away without using it at this point, or all the above.
Well, the one thing I cheaped out on is I bought a set of used calipers for it, some Willwoods. I got them at a local Big 3 swap meet. And I was like, yeah, I'll rebuild them. It should be fine. And I rebuilt them, but one of the pistons, it's pretty pitted. So the fluid's just bypassing, it's leaking. So I'm going to have to get some new pistons for those things and rebuild them again.
Yeah, that's kind of messy, right?
Yeah, it's a messy job. I actually did it the night before we left to the event, trying to just give it one last hoorah, and it didn't work too well.
Okay, dude. We're going to keep watching you. We're going to let our audience know about it. And we hope you get a lot more hoorahs and a lot more get shitties, stay shitties, and keeping it street. And it's fun to watch you. Stay safe. Buckle up. You do sometimes, I mean, those, I don't know what those race seats are, but they're low. Because when I see you in there, man, sometimes I'm like, is that actually been in there? Man, sometimes I might only see him in there, dude. How tall are you, bro?
Yeah, dude, I'm only 5'6".
Oh, man. Sometimes I'm like, I'm going to get you like a flat bill. I'm going to send you a hat, and then you're going to be rocking that hat. It's going to be like the flat bill is like right at the door. And I'm like, dude, there he goes, man. He's freaking hauling ass. And yeah, it's good shit, dude.
That's rad, dude. Definitely send my way, and I'll put that in a video.
You got it, man. I always hook up the guests, so I'll take care of you, bro. We appreciate your time. It's great to finally meet you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep influencing people. And, I think the most important thing is that you're doing it on a budget. You're doing it because your heart, your soul, you're passionate about it. We're glad that you picked the C10, or the C10 found you over the course of, a few C10s in your life. And that's really what it's all about. And I really do try to, don't get me wrong, I like to spend money too, but I like to try to tell people that you don't have to have $1 million, that you can do it on a budget. You can have fun and put a smile on your face. And that is really what it's all about.
Yeah, dude. It's all about having fun. And like you said, it's a pure passion build. This was all just out of fun. And everybody loves seeing the C10 go down the street. Whether it's a young dude or an old lady or an old man, they all love that truck.
Yeah, that is cool. And a lot of times they probably, you do definitely get a little exhausty with it too. What exhaust are you flowing out the back of that thing?
So I got 2 MagnaFlow glass packs on there. And then it's honestly 2.5-inch piping I just had laying around from previous builds.
Cool.
I just slapped it together.
How about your rear end? What's your ratio?
So I got 411 Detroit locker in there. And that's in the strange center section housing. And then the actual axle housing and axles are Curry.
Cool. Yeah. Have to build those up so you don't go snapping those?
Yeah, like I said, with the transmission, I'm tired of getting burnt on shit, so I kind of just saved a lot of money and just threw it all at the truck and knew that if I spent the money right, it would work.
Okay. Well, we're going to look for a couple sway bars, and if I can be of any help to you, just let me know. Stay safe out there. Stay shitty, and have a good day, dude.
Right on, bud. Appreciate you talking to me.
Thanks,
Thank
bro.
you very much.
You got it, man. Thank you.